Najveća regionalna svetkovina strip umjetnosti, 18. Hercegnovski strip festival, još jednom je u Herceg Novom i Boki okupio elitu svjetske strip scene. Čak 150 umjetnika iz 20 zemalja učestvovalo je u bogatom šestodnevnom programu na 20 lokacija u Boki Kotorskoj. Posebno mjesto u plejadi umjetnika, kao i svake godine, bilo je rezervisano za 12 specijalnih gostiju, čiji su radovi bili izloženi u galeriji Josip Bepo Benković. Ljubitelji stripa bili su u prilici da vide probrane radove, a tokom 6 dana festivala i dobiju na poklon crteže čuvenih Jill Thompson i Jean Ha iz Sjedinjenih Američkih Država, Tanina Liberatorea i Matea Alemana iz Italije, Erika Herengela iz Francuske, Anje Morozove iz Estonije, Tonija Sandovale iz Meksika, Yildiraja Činara iz Turske, Damijana Stepančića iz Slovenije, Đorđija Taragona iz Španije i Matjaša Namaja iz Češke. Hercegnovski strip festival još jednom je u Herceg Novi donio brojne besplatne kvalitetne stripovske sadržaje, kao što su besplatna crtanja za fanove, radionice za sve uzraste, masterclass predavanja, izložbe i prezentacije, kao i muzički program sa impresivnim spiskom izvođača, te su ove godine na festivalu nastupili D-Tur, Kralj Čačka, Marcello, Bolesna Štenad, Džajli Bu i Vojko V, te je jedna od poruka koja je obilježila večernje programe 18. izdanja festivala da festival stripa može parirati najozbiljnijim muzičkim festivalima u regionu. Prvi put su na Hercegnovski strip festival stigli gosti iz najveće stripovske zemlje na svijetu, Sjedinjenih Američkih Država, Jill Thompson, koja je prije mjesec uvrštena u Eisner kuću slavnih strip umjetnosti, i Jean Ha, dobitnik 5. nagrade Eisner, koja je poznata kao stripovski Oskar. Novina je i da na spisku prijatelja festivala ove godine i ambasada Sjedinjenih Američkih Država u Crnoj Gori, što je bio povod za razgovor sa ambasadorkom SAD Rajzing Rajnke u galeriji Josip Bepo Benković.
Dear Ambassador Rajzing Rajnke, it's a pleasure and a privilege and an honor to have you back in Herceg Novi this year again, this time for the Herceg Novi Comic Book Festival, the 18th edition. So the US Embassy has joined a long list of partners of this festival this year, and today here with us are two of the great American comic book artists, Jill Thompson and Jean Ha. How did the US Embassy contribute to these artists visiting Herceg Novi and Montenegro and being here and drawing for all the comic book fans that come to this festival?
Well, Radovan, first of all, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to Herceg Novi so warmly. I'm really very happy to be at the 18th Herceg Novi Strip Festival. I'd heard about it from the organizers, and I'm very glad that the U.S. Embassy found an opportunity to support them and this community through our financial support of the two artists who are participating in this year's show. So it's the first year that the U.S. Embassy has actually financially supported the Strip Festival, and I can see the value of bringing over American comic artists and being part of this local festival of art and creativity, which has, frankly, international impact. It's an amazing collection of artists from, I think it was 20 countries that participate. It would have been a pity for the US to miss this opportunity to show two of our really fantastic award-winning comic artists in the exhibition. And you mentioned their names. Jill Thompson, actually, some of her work is right here. We're in the gallery, Josip Bepo Benković, and her artwork is right here, and she does some beautiful work. With this particular character is called Scary Godmother, and I had known about this as a mother. This is the kind of thing that transitions sort of teen, and often it appeals to young girls, but teen comic fans, into the genre. And there's so many other things that Jill Thompson does. She's gotten, I think, a dozen awards called Eisner Awards, the top awards. And she's been recently inducted into the Comic Book Hall of Fame in Comic-Con US. And then the other artist that you made reference to, I don't know if the camera picks up, is Jean Ha. And he's another amazingly creative gentleman, and I'm so happy he's here. He's written for almost every major comic book organization. He's been a comic since he was young, or comic artist. And right now he's also an Eisner Award winner, and multiple winner, and he is showing things from his well, basically his wide body of work. He even has his own titles and his own work. So he's both in the commercial chains, but also independent. Between the two of them, you're seeing some of the best that America has to offer in comics. And the reason it's important is comics build cultural ties. It's not just for fun and entertainment. There's some serious messages here. And it also is a medium in which, you know, it's the pure creativity of the individual artist that comes through. This is not AI, it's not artificially generated. This is the love and the passion and the talent of individuals that we're all celebrating here in Herceg Novi. And I'm just excited to be part of this event.
What are your impressions of the opening ceremony? It's your first visit to the Herceg Novi Comic Book Festival. What do you think of the work the Nebojša, Jovan and the rest of the crew are doing here?
Well, last night was about the most fun I've had in I won't say years, because other events have been great too, but it's about the most fun I've had all year. The music was great. Perhaps I should thank the musicians, which includes Radovan. Of course, the organizers, Jovan and Nebojša, and the others who support them are such a passionate team, keeping this festival going for 18 years, and they've been leading it for the last 10 years, I guess. It is a work of personal passion and commitment, and the event was fun. I'm actually delighted that the Prime Minister of Montenegro joined, because I think the Prime Minister needs to see that this is a community event supported by community businesses, as well as some national known brands, and everyone shows up. I'm quite impressed with what it means to be part of the comic strip festival in Herceg Novi, and the support of the national government is very important. I'm glad that several diplomatic missions are part of this undertaking. As I said, the U.S. is the first participating for the first time, but the Italian embassy has participated for well over a decade, and I saw the Italian ambassador at the event last night, together with the French embassy, which has one artist, and the French ambassador participated. I know this morning the ambassador from the United Kingdom will be here with some British artists, so there's quite a bit of international and diplomatic support for what Herceg Novi has, which is a unique comic strip festival showing artistry, creativity, and community engagement at the same time.
Maybe a year ago, the project of embassy came to fruition, and the embassy was involved through Ambassador's Fund for conservation of historical heritage. So the collection of 20 icons from 17th and 19th century was restored and conserved. They were part of the collection of City Museum. And can you look back on that project that U.S. Embassy has supported, and the similar projects in Montenegro that are funded through the Ambassador's Fund?
Yeah, thank you, Radovan. I'm actually really proud of this activity. It's called the Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation. As you mentioned, it is a fund dedicated to preserving and restoring physical, cultural areas and items and artifacts, because culture is important for any society, and we recognize that. So it is a competitive process to get money to support projects that have cultural significance. The one that you mentioned, relating to the 20 icons from I think it's the Dmitriev Rafaelovich School of Painting from Boca Bay, that is culturally significant. It's referred to as movable cultural heritage, because they can move from place to place, and those icons were quite deteriorated, and yet beautiful. In the restoration work carried out through the preservation teams of the Ministry of Culture have made these icons come alive again, and as expressions of art and as expressions of spirituality, they're incredibly beautiful. And I understand they've been designated as cultural heritage items, and they're now moving in Montenegro, and I think in a few neighboring countries, to show this beautiful heritage of Herceg Novi. So I'm really happy that we were able to play a part financially and in support of the culture of Herceg Novi and Montenegro. We've supported a number of other lovely projects. In Plevla in the north, we supported the restoration of what's called a Shadravan. It's the beautiful fountains in front of the main mosque of the city where ablution, that is a cleaning of your hands and feet, takes place before going into a mosque. It's beautiful, and the restoration was really important, and I'm so glad we were able to support that. Likewise, you know the monastery in Piva, which is in Plujana, which some decades ago was moved, and you're aware of the cultural significance of the monastery. Well, there's some incredibly important mural artworks on the wall that had been moved to the new location, but began to get damaged because the base of the church was not sealed. It was not. So the dampness was beginning to hurt the murals, and so we contributed funds in order to fix the entire drainage system so that the murals will last for the centuries. There are a few others. I could probably name them all. Right now we have a project in place to support the restoration of the walls of the city of Kotor. As you know, a UNESCO heritage city, and those walls suffered so much in 1979, and there's still work being done to reinforce and support restoration. So we are definitely proud to be supporting that particular work as well. Let's put it this way. Culture, people take pride in their culture, and we want to show that we likewise take pride in those items and those places that have cultural significance so that they can be enjoyed by children and grandchildren and for the years to come.
For generations to come.
Yes.
Then thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So one project that was important for Herceg Novi and its citizens was the building and the founding of a daycare center for disabled children with disabilities in Sutorina. The American embassy also had a big role in that project, and now its daycare center is being expanded, and it will be able to host persons over the age of 27. So can you look back on that project and how important is that institution facility for citizens of Herceg Novi and in other towns, people in other towns, and how important it is that it's developing and continuing to grow?
Yes, I think I'm really glad you asked about that project. There's a number of ways we've been engaged with the communities in and around Herceg Novi that maybe are not well known. So I'm happy to talk about the daycare center for youth with disabilities. I've had a chance to visit a few years back. We originally provided some financial support during the renovation and I think relaunch of the facility. As I recall, it was something around $270,000 US. I'm not quite sure what that translated to in euro. That was committed by the US European Command. The European Command is part of our military. This is part of our bilateral support as military and allies. We actually have quite a few projects related to communities that I think really make a difference. Renovating schools, renovating some medical equipment, medical institutions or clinics, or providing equipment. In this case, this was particularly because these are young people in need of education, and with the whole idea of allowing young people who are disabled in these various ways to have a full and rich life, and over time be able to be part of the community as they should be, and not limited in their social engagements. The school is wonderful, and you made a comment about now the next step is to expand the school to allow individuals who age out, that is at 27, to also be able to have continuing care. I think that's very societal, how do you say that? It's very compassionate that Herceg Novi and the school is doing that, and we're proud to support also that effort. One thing I think is worth noting is that we realized that what the young people do at the school, besides basic education, is to get enrichment. And we were able to commit what we call an Arts Envoy program to support the school a few years ago. And over the course of, I think it was over the course of 6 months or so, the Arts Envoy brought music and fine art program every few weekends so that the students can actually learn how to draw, learn how to play music, understand music, appreciate art, basically also visual arts and let's say movie arts. And over the course of a number of weeks, I watched those young people just absolutely finding their own skills and their own creativity. You never know what kind of talents are sometimes locked in the mind of somebody who really needs that extra help through education. So I'm delighted that we've been able to help these young people have a more full life through that program.
Ambassador, I want to thank you in the name of citizens of Herceg Novi in the name of Radio Television Herceg Novi for being here and supporting the Herceg Novi Strip Festival this year and for many years to come, I hope so, and for supporting other projects in Herceg Novi that are important to our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Radovan. I suddenly realized as we're talking, it's my third visit to Herceg Novi this year, and actually I'm hoping to come back again because it's a nice place to relax. So even for just the private relaxation that I'm able to enjoy in Herceg Novi, I feel very welcome, and it's such a nice opportunity to talk to you about how important the community is.
Thank you for being here and thank you for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
U Gradskoj galeriji razgovarali smo i sa ovogodišnjim specijalnim gostima strip festivala Jeanom Ha i Jill Thompson. Nakon što je diplomirala na Američkoj umjetničkoj akademiji u Čikagu, Jill Thompson je započela karijeru u svijetu stripa koja traje već nekoliko decenija i donijela joj je status superzvijezde. Najpoznatija je po sopstvenim kreacijama Strašna kuma i Magična Triksi, kao i legendarnim naslovima Mala beskonačna knjiga priča, Smrt na vratima smrti, Sandman, te spektakularna grafička novela Čudesna žena, prava Amazonka, sa kojom je osvojila jednu od čak 13 Eisner nagrada.
So Jill, it's your first visit, I'm guessing, to Herceg Novi and Montenegro. How would you rate the experience at the Herceg Novi Comic Book Festival, this 18th edition, and you being the special guest from the United States, you and Mr. Jean Ha? How do you like the Herceg Novi, the views, the festival, the crowd, the public? What do you think of it all?
I'm delighted to be a guest here at the Herceg Novi Strip Festival. I have never before been to your beautiful country. I've been to the coast before, but not here. And I'm in love with this area. I think it's beautiful. All of the people that I've met have been so incredibly friendly. I love the view. I went into the sea yesterday and I look forward to doing that again. I also love the mountains. I look forward to learning about your culture, and the music last night was really great. So you just need to make it a little less humid for me.
How does it compare, like Herceg Novi Strip Festival, to the big festivals in America, like Comic-Con? What's the difference between those experiences? Can you like put it in words?
The difference between American comic book shows and European or the Herceg Novi Comic Book Festival is this is a much more personal experience where you get to meet and interact with people who are interested in storytelling and art on a more one-on-one basis. In the United States, it's a lot more about commerce, but also it's so big. So you're very busy all the time, and it's a crush of people. It's very fun, and I do like it, but I have to say I like to be able to meet people and not have them rush past me the way that I expect I'll be able to do here. Because I like to draw for people, I want to know what they like, I want to know if they also do art, and then get to see some of their art. And it seems when I come to a place like this, I leave with friends, and when I'm at home at a convention, I don't have that type of time.
So the project you're most well known in the world is Scary Godmother, and this year it's being reprinted. It's coming back in print after, yes, I think 2 years of break. How do you look back on that character and that whole storyline you created like almost 30 years ago?
Oh, wow. It's true. It has been nearly 30 years. It's probably been 27 years because my niece Hannah, who is the little girl Hannah in the story, is 28 this year. Well, it was a blessing and that I created this character. I didn't set out to do it as a comic. I just wanted to make a gift for my niece when she was born, so I wanted to make a book for her. I wanted to be her godmother, but at the time I dressed a lot more goth, and my hair was big and red and crazy, and I thought about myself standing in the back of the church, and I thought, I would be a pretty scary godmother. And when I said those two words, I got the idea in my head. It just popped in there, like the vision of Scary Godmother, and I immediately started to draw her. And once I drew her, all of these other ideas came. So I feel like it was meant to be. I didn't say to myself one day, oh, today I'm going to make a story about Halloween and a witch and things like that. It just happened, and the more stories kept coming and coming and coming, the more I drew. So I felt like this is natural, this is supposed to be. And I was delighted to be able to create things, many, many books and comics for her. And then once we had those comics in Chicago, we did a play of Scary Godmother. And then that play was adapted to be 2 shows on Cartoon Network. And now I want to make more stories. So thankfully, Image Comics wants to do this big compendium, and then also possibly do more stories after that.
Are the new TV shows coming with the stories yet?
Not yet. I wouldn't say no, but right now, if you want to do Scary Godmother shows, just call me.
Gene Ha je umjetnik iz Čikaga koji je čak prije 30 godina ponio laskavu nagradu Russ Manning za najperspektivnijeg autora na svijetu. Na tu čast odgovorio je briljantnom karijerom u toku koje je do današnjeg dana osvojio čak 5 Eisner nagrada. Njegov najnoviji projekat je spektakularni drugi dio omnibus serijala Istorija čudesne žene Amazonke.
Gene, how do you like it here in Herceg Novi, and how would you rate the experience at the Herceg Novi Strip Festival? This 18th edition, it's growing, the festival is getting bigger and bigger each year, and the stars like you and Jill are here this year with the help of American Embassy.
It's fantastic. I've never been on this side of the Adriatic, so all of this is new to me. The people are incredibly friendly, and it's just, I mean, it's so insanely beautiful. I just was working on Wonder Woman Historia last year, and drawing landscapes not set in this area, because, you know, Greek culture back then was all over the area. And seeing that kind of landscape for real, I realized, oh, if I'd visited here first, the forest would have looked so much better than what I did. I'm proud of what I did, but it's so much more beautiful than I could imagine. I should also mention, Montenegro is a very small country, and in the United States we often get lost within our own borders. We forget the rest of the world exists. And coming here in a small country, you can see that you've brought together the world here in one festival. And a smaller country is always aware of that the sky they're underneath touches all the nations of the rest of the world. And it's just how friendly you are to everyone coming from all over the world is just amazing.
How would you compare the experience? I asked Ms. Thompson the same question. How would you compare the experience of this kind of festival to the festivals and the Comic-Cons in America?
The typical American Comic-Con is a commercial mercantile event. It's supposed to be very friendly for the public, but we're still there to, move units of comic books or video games or promote the latest TV show. And this is very much about, both two things. It's about the art of comics, and it's also about building the community of comics, which includes readers, people from all these different nations, and just kind of appreciate. And it's like, it's not promoting the latest book. It's promoting what great things can be done with comics, both as a reading experience and bring people together.
Have you met some new artists while you are here that you weren't aware of their work and stuff like that?
Let me see. I met Bill Simpson for the first time. Let me see. I'm going to mispronounce his name. Damian Stepancic. Let me see. And I've read his work for years, but Tony Sandoval, I finally got to meet him. And he is exactly the rock star I imagined him to be.
So the Wonder Woman Historia, you mentioned it, it's getting a lot of prizes, and it's on a roll. We can say it's a big thing in the comic book world right now. How would you say the promotion is going, and how are you satisfied with the public reception of the comic book?
It's a passion project of Kelly Sue DeConnick. It's something she'd wanted to do for ages. So I'm so lucky that she and Phil Jimenez brought me on as the second artist to work on it. I am so happy that people have fallen in love with this book, because when I saw the work Phil was, when I was told I'd be following Phil, I thought, okay, I can draw in a style equivalent to Phil. And then I saw what he was doing on the book, and I realized I can't do what he's doing. I can't do what he's doing in this book. This is all new. He stepped up a level, and I had to step up my own work, but I couldn't do what he was doing, so I had to figure out new things that I could do to tell the story in a new way that I had not been able to do the year before I started working on his story.
How important it is to an artist to be able to adjust his own style, depending on the project?
There's different ways of looking at it, but my way of looking at it is the artist, both the writer and the artist, are the servant of the story they're trying to tell. And the story that Kelly Sue gave to me to tell required new tools. And I couldn't just lean on the old tricks I'd used for the last 30 years. I had to do something new. And if you're given a story where it's beyond what you've done before, you must either step up or, frankly, just step aside for someone else to draw it.
Thank you for being here, and I hope you'll come to the next editions of the Herceg Novi Strip Festival, and we'll see you again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Thank you.
Pokrovitelji i partneri festivala bili su opština Herceg Novi i opština Tivat, Ministarstvo kulture i medija Crne Gore, Ministarstvo turizma, Ministarstvo odbrane Crne Gore, turistička organizacija Herceg Novi, ambasade Sjedinjenih Američkih Država, Italije, Slovenije, Francuske, Velike Britanije i Španije, kao i više od 60 sponzora, među kojima su predstavnici turističke privrede i kompanije iz Herceg Novog i Crne Gore.